there, it's Rebecca from Rebecca Art Tutor, back with another video, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rebecca and I produce a range of videos about starting out in art, techniques, advice, tips and tricks, all based on my experience of teaching art for over 10 years. So I do hope that you find some inspiration on this channel. So I often like to turn to a material where it's very simple to use, or just one media. So pencils is something that I often turn to when I feel a bit stressed, or I can't make decisions about what art I want to make, or I don't want to get much stuff out, or I just need like a way back into creating art. So we're going to think about pencils in this video. I'd like to, first of all, just cover a bit more about them, because you may not have realised some of the things in this video about pencils, and also just to highlight how you can use them in different ways. So let's get into the video. So let's talk about pencils. What I've got in front of me are some of the equipment I use when I use pencils. They all have different, what we call grades. So we have 4B, B, 4H. So what is the difference? Well, the difference is that H pencils are hard graphite and B pencils are softer. So there is a range of grades, and they range from F, which is a very hard graphite pencil, to the highest I've got here is 8B, which is the softest pencil. So it goes to F to H, 4H, and then HB is in the middle of the scale, and then you get your B grades. And it is the B grades that I use for blending, sketching. In fact, I don't generally use F pencils or H pencils at all. So the difference is that if I want to smudge and blend, the B pencils are nice and soft, and the H pencils give me more of a lighter graphite. So let's just have a look and see if you can see the difference. So this is my softest pencil, which is 8B, and as you can see, hopefully you can tell that that is quite dark, soft graphite. It will be really good for blending and layering, and it feels nice and soft. And then this hard pencil, which is F, is much lighter and much thinner line, and it's quite going to be a bit harder to blend that. It's a hard graphite. So that's the difference between the grades. We're now going to work on creating a tonal scale, and we're going to learn about pencil shading, pencil layering and values. So what we're going to do is take a piece of paper and just write down some numbers. So we want number 1, number 2, and put them quite close to each other, number 3, number 4, number 5 and number 6. Now if you want to challenge yourself, you can go right up to number 8. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to create swatches from light to dark, and the challenge is to get all the in-between values where they should be. So I'm going to cheat a little. Number 1 is going to be the white of the paper. Number 2 is going to be a very light shade. Now if you're someone who likes things neat, you probably would just draw a grid with a ruler, but I think it's perfectly fine to do it this way, just as swatches. So I know they're not even, and that bothers some people, but it's okay. Now the reason that you want them really close to each other is because we need to compare them. So number 2 is going to be a really, really light, as light as you can. Now what I could have done is I could have picked my F pencil, which would have created a lighter graphite, but that's okay. If you've only got one pencil, you can still do this. So number 8 is going to be the darkest value. So it's very likely that I'm going to have to layer it to get it really dark. So at the moment, it's definitely the darkest one. We may have to make it even darker. Well, let's find out when we fill out the rest. So this activity is really good for learning about layering pencil, how to make things darker and lighter, and learning about value, which is how dark and light the pencil can be. So here we have an 8-point tonal scale where I have completed each box with a different value, and they're put next to each other so you can see the difference between each value, each box. And I think you'd agree they are all different, but very subtle. Like 4 and 5 are very close, and 5 and 6 is very close, and actually so is 7 and 8. But there is subtle differences, and I've achieved this by layering the pencil. Now, when you're drawing, it's worth keeping this in the back of the sketchbook, because it's a reminder that in drawing you're aiming for all the values. So you want to be using the pencil from the lightest to the darkest, and that's going to give your drawings a 3D look. If you only work in the mid-tones values, which are like this here, your drawings, or even that, your drawings are likely to look quite flat. So you want to, don't be scared of these really dark tones, obviously sparingly and depending on what you're drawing, but to make things look 3D, we really need contrast, we need all these values. Now I'd like to talk about how we can use pencils. So there are 3 different ways we can use pencil. Well, I don't like to use definitive numbers, but I'm just going to talk about 3 main ways that we can use pencil. So the first one is line. So this just means drawing with a line. So we have such a thing as line drawing, which is a drawing which contains no tonal information, and you can produce line drawings with pencil. Then we have marks. So many marks can be made with pencil. So here we're talking about dots, dashes, squiggles, and I have many videos on mark making, and you can make most of these marks that I've referred to in those videos with pencil. So things like hatching, cross hatching. And then we have blending, and blending is sort of really where you blend pencil to create values. So for the blending, you definitely need soft pencils. So we're talking B grades. I like 6B, 8B, 4B. They're my favourite pencils because I like blending. And with blending, you might be doing what I'm doing here, sort of smudging it. So 3 types of ways to use the pencil. Well, I hope you found that interesting and inspiring, and perhaps it's given you a little bit more of an insight into pencils, what they are and how you can use them, and perhaps some inspiration for some of the ways that you can use pencil in different, more exciting ways than perhaps you first thought. So please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you find my content interesting, and I shall see you in the next video.